got product on my ass. I got signs, they pull up fast. Put a quarter on your ass. Get your body for a pay. Big ass Jago, big ass seed. I just made her swallow my key. Big ass Jago, big ass seed.
Yo, what is up guys? Caleb here. Back another video. Today, we'll give you the best and worst albums of 2019. Or at least in my opinion. Now, before we do anything else, make sure you go back and check out the last two videos. Did a video over my most anticipated albums for 2020. And I also did a video over Uzi, basically promoting Eternal Take and these new images he put online. So check that out if you haven't already. Also, check out the merch. It's in the description below. And do me a favor and check out Unruly Citizens. They have merch that some of your favorite artists have worn. That is also in the description below. Other than that, man, we're just gonna get straight into the video. Not even gonna play around with you. Originally I was supposed to do a top 10 list, and I was like, man, not that many albums came out this year, so why would I do a top 10 list? So instead of doing a top 10 list, we're gonna do 5 of the worst albums of 2019 and 5 of the best albums of 2019. So I think we're gonna start off with the worst albums, because that just seems to make sense, and then build up to the best. So at number 5, we're gonna start off with exclamation mark point, whatever you want to call it. That album was trash, bro. That album was trash. And somehow it wasn't the worst album on this list. And I think that's mainly because you had some bangers on here besides having none. But you know, Trippy really didn't try for this. He even said this in an interview recently I went back and watched. You know, just a couple weeks ago he did. And he said that this was basically a side project compared to doing a Love Letter to You 4. So I'm like, really, bro? Why even do it? Why even do it? So apparently it seems like he's trying to get out of his deal. So this is part of his deal. So maybe he just half did it so he can get out of his deal faster. And a Love Letter to You 4 was the real project for the fans. Now moving on from that, we go on to number 4. Number 4 is probably going to be Bad Vibes Forever. Now honestly, I looked at Sean C's list, and he said that Bad Vibes Forever is basically a track list full of bathroom vocals, which I laughed at because that's partially true, bro. Because you can't just take unfinished vocals, bro, and then act like it's something new and act like it's crisp and he's speaking into a mic. It's just not going to work. So for that to be 90% of the album, you know, that wasn't that good. Maybe even 95% of the album. So, you know, I didn't do a review over it, but you know, when I listen to it, there's only maybe 3 songs that actually you can listen to and say, oh, he actually recorded this in the studio. Other than that, man, like, they honestly shouldn't have dropped this because it wasn't finished. Now number 3 is going to be Dead Star 2. If you guys saw my review of it, it was basically really disappointing because he had so much material it seemed like he was going to do with this album. And the first album really had all these eerie beats that sounded really good, but this album didn't have any of that. It just had some, I guess, what do you want to call mainstream trap, and very generic at that too. And you can't expect much out of Smoke Perp because he usually doesn't deliver. Like, people say he was trying to bite off Cardi's wave they started with the baby voice. Now I can hear that going back and listening to it. I didn't realize it at first, but yeah, I definitely see where people can say that. Now number 3, Bad Habits. Nav, he just never changes, bro. Like, he doesn't really sound new, he doesn't sound fresh. I mean, the people he collaborates with make him sound like straight garbage. Can't even hold a candle to what they're doing. And you could tell he's really trying to get streams too whenever he dropped that, bro. You know how he had a deluxe version probably just a week after the album came out? Like, he couldn't release that with the album. Come on, bro, come on. Like, he had some promise with the first mixtape, and then Perfect Time was kind of good, and then after that everything's been straight trash. So I don't know what he's got to do, but he's not doing anything new or anything fresh, so got to do something new. Number 1, the Little Pump album, and it was straight garbage. Also, you can't take 2 years off and expect your album to be really good if you're Little Pump. You know, why would you take 2 years off if you're Little Pump? Honestly, people already forgot about you, bro. And obviously this whole album was a flop. You know, it didn't sell a whole lot, and it just shows you that, you know, this dude is really falling off. You know what I mean? At the time Gucci Gang came out, he was really just maybe like a trend on Twitter, but at this point, you know, people moved on to the Baby, people moved on to 6ix9ine, so you can't really compete with that. So yeah, that was the worst album of the year. Beginning of the year, and still the worst album of the year. So like I said, nothing really came out this year, so there probably would have been something even worse than that. I don't know, but not a whole lot came out. So moving on to the best albums of the year, at number 5 we have Father of Four. Now, Father of Four, I didn't listen to it a whole lot, but when it came out, it was hidden. It really was. J. Cole came on there and destroyed the song he was on, and Offset was telling this pretty much great story within the album, anywhere from him being in a car accident, almost dying, and then him, not being the same person he used to be. So I really can't say nothing bad about it. It was the better of the 3 Migos albums they dropped within the end of 2018 and the beginning of 2019. So hopefully, as much time as they're taking on Culture 3, it's gonna be pretty good. So at number 4, I had listed Jesus is King. For being a gospel album, a gospel rap album, I actually found this pretty enjoyable. I know a lot of people still want Yandhi. We're probably never gonna get it. We would have hoped to got Yandhi before this album would have came out, but it really seems like Kanye is really turning his life around, so we're probably never gonna get it, like I said. But hopefully he can expand on this. I know some people didn't like the album as much as his other albums, but you gotta realize it's a different album. It's not gonna be on the same level as his previous albums. And it's just a different kind of album in general, so comparison is really hard to make. So for number 3, we have A Love Letter to You 4. And this is basically my Die Lit of the year. And what I mean by that is, at first I started hating Die Lit, and then at the end of the year I started liking it more. Now, I didn't hate Love Letter to You 4 per se, but it still isn't his best work. And I know that for sure, bro. I know that for sure. But it's hard to say it doesn't come second to his best work, you know what I mean? And again, for the people that think that Life's a Trip is his best work, just a reminder, half of the album is pre-released. So I want to throw that out there. That's the only reason I'm not ranking that number 1. In fact, I have to re-rank this whole list, because last year, if you remember correctly, I did a list for Trippie Redd, and I did it really early in the year. I'm gonna do it later in the year, this year. So hopefully we'll get some more artists to re-rank and everything. If certain albums drop, I'll start to rank those as well. You know what I mean? If Uzi drops Eternal Take and EA is better than all of his previous work, I'll start to rank that again. But I was getting really sidetracked there. Moving on, number 2, we have Igor. Now, Igor easily could have been number 1 album of the year for me, but the amount of listens to it is not compared to number 1. So that's the only reason it's not number 1, because I don't listen to it as much. And it's really something you gotta be in the mood for. You can't get really that tired of it. It's different compared to Trippie's emo rap. It's more like a whole story being told. And for those albums, you can't just sit there and listen to the whole thing at once, because you'll get stuck. You'll get stuck doing that. I've done that with Kendrick Lamar's albums, you know what I mean? So what I like that Tyler's doing is he's decreasing the amount of songs in the album and decreasing the amount of minutes in the album, and he's realizing less is more, and the quality is going up as a result of that. So I can't complain about that, because that's a good thing. So moving on to number 1, if you haven't realized it already, it's so much fun, bro. I streamed it so much. And where exactly do you go wrong with this album besides having Future as a feature? You know what I mean? Because I don't like Future, I'm not gonna lie to you. But honestly, where do you go wrong? I mean, for years it seemed like he wasn't dropping anything as good as the Slime Tapes Season 3. That was my opinion. I don't know if everybody agrees with that, but that's what I think. And it seemed like all the albums after that were just okay, you know what I mean? They weren't groundbreaking or anything, It seemed like Thug had lost his hunger and his drive, and he was getting kind of complacent. So this definitely brought out the old Thug for me, an artist I enjoyed since like my early days of high school. But this is my list. What do you guys think? Let me know in the comment section down below. Do you agree? Do you disagree? Let me know. If you did enjoy the video, hit the like button. And if you're new to the channel, hit the subscribe button. And I'll see the rest of you guys later. Hey you, yeah you, I see you sitting there. Let me ask you, how do you feel about Trippie Redd? Okay. How do you feel about Travis Scott? Okay. How you feel about Playboi Carti? You know what? How you feel about Lil Uzi? Like, these are one of the best in the game. Okay, so if you like all these, this is probably the channel for you, as well as some of your favorite artists. So what are you waiting for? Hit that subscribe button. I'll wait.